Hey guys, what's up? This is Mel, and I'm here to talk about Arrow. This time, episode 405, titled Haunted, which premiered Wednesday, November 4th, 2015 on the CW. And this is not only a revealing episode, but we definitely get a special crossover guest star. So before we begin, just a reminder that if you haven't watched the episode already, please go do so first, and then if you want, I hope you do, come back and check out what I picked up on the episode or what I thought about it. Don't want my own thoughts and opinions to influence how you see the episode. Also, I have not read the comics at all, so any of my thoughts and opinions or observations about any events that happen in the episode, it's all solely based on what I've seen on the TV show. I don't take anything from the comics. I don't make any predictions based off the comics. If I truly want to know if this character is part of the comics, I'll go look and see, yeah, this person is meant to be this, or some, to see if there's similarities. But otherwise, I'd state that. But otherwise, for the sake of it, just assume that everything I'm getting off of the show is because I'm getting it from the show itself. So, with that said, let's start this 10-minute clock and let's get started. So, what is the first, or not the first thing, what is something new that we learned in this episode? First thing is we are introduced to John Constantine and his connection to Oliver, which is featured in the flashbacks in this episode. And we get to see the source of one of Oliver's tattoos that we see along his stomach. It's a whole bunch, it looks like Chinese lettering or symbols. I think like 4 or 5 of them on top of each other. It looks like that. I'm not completely sure, but they used to be on Constantine's arm. With magic, he transferred it over. Don't know what the tattoo means. It's very interesting to see how Oliver got that. Seemed to be painless, so I'm all for that kind of way of getting a tattoo for sure, but no idea how. But John Constantine said something about it helping Oliver, maybe? I don't know. Hoping for more about that later. Another thing that we learn in this episode is that not only does Sarah's soul get restored to her body, but we get to know how that's done. And that is why John Constantine comes in, because you need magic to do it. And it was interesting how it was done. Another thing we learned is that Damien Darhk does confirm to Captain Lance that he and the organization Hive had put a hit on Andrew Diggle. And we learned just why it was done. Apparently, Andrew Diggle was a competing crime lord. Sorry, was that it? Is that my understanding of it? Is this not what I was expecting? Another thing we learned is that Ray is still alive and in trouble, thanks to the last recording that Felicity and Curtis were trying to clean up due to some interference. Another thing is the introduction of, I can't talk, I'm so sorry, the introduction of Alex Davis, who is Oliver's new political strategist for his campaign to become a mayor. So, Thea hired him, so that's how we get introduced to him. So, we're going to see him more whenever we have to deal with Oliver's campaign and him being at the office. Another little side stuff that we learned is that the Arrow Cave has a PA system and its own garage. PA system used by Felicity, and the garage was seen with Lance parking his car when he was there to meet Oliver. So what was the most shocking moment of the episode? First thing would be that if I didn't know about Legends of Tomorrow, that spinoff, if I didn't know about it, I would be shocked by the discovery made by Felicity and Curtis in regards to Ray Palmer being alive and in trouble. So, there's that. But, because I do know about it, my next shocking moment had to be the reason behind Andrew Diggle's death. That was surprising because the way that John Diggle has always pictured or has always painted his brother is very different from very different from why he was killed. Because if his brother was a crime lord, that would definitely shatter any image that John Diggle had of his brother. So that was a shocker. Okay, so top favorite moments of the episode. I have quite a few, a lot more than 3. First one has to be John Constantine himself. I didn't watch the series Constantine, but the fact that he is a character that is crossing over onto Arrow just has me pumped in itself. So that was great. Aside from that, it was great to see how him and Oliver met in the flashback on the island, how he was the source of Oliver learning that magic did exist. It was kind of an understanding between them, which I really liked. And then when he finally came into the present day, we got to see how his power worked. We got to see, not his power, how the magic worked and how he was able to use it. And then just like all the different witty one-liners that he had, it was just fantastic. Oliver and Constantine seemed to have a budding friendship between them. Seemed like old friends. It seemed like it's just been a long time since they've seen each other. It's just meet to catch up and stuff like that. And what was even funny too was when Felicity gave him the ingredients for the spell. His comments about it were interesting and unexpected. So there's that. Just the character itself, I really like that he was introduced. Another favorite moment was just the hug between Oliver and Felicity after Sarah's soul was returned to her body. Since Oliver went in to help retrieve the soul, he kind of came out of it a little weary or tired. So to have him not only move to Felicity but to cling to her as he got his bearings straight, and just the hug they had while the Lance family had the reunion was really great. And the Lance family reunion was pretty cool too, side note. But another favorite moment of mine would have to be feral Sarah. So Sarah without a soul, soulless Sarah. Surprisingly, I actually liked her. Katie Lotz did a really fantastic job portraying that aspect of Sarah, and I loved Sarah when she came in as the Canary. She's fantastic. I'm glad to see her back, and not only going to the spinoff somehow, but just to see the side of her is just very animalistic, very one-track mind. Before, the idea of being soulless mainly came from the show Supernatural from a couple of years ago, and it's being introduced now, especially in tonight's episode, which I'll talk about in that video. But it's very interesting to see how having no soul means on Arrow, and the way Sarah did it, it was just very believable of how she goes back to her baser instincts, one-track mind, only letting for the thing that drives her in a sense. So I really liked feral Sarah. Very dangerous, very commanding, very holds no bar, I guess you can say, if that's even the right saying. She definitely showed herself as a threat for sure, and I actually liked that, which was surprising in itself. Another favorite moment will have to be Curtis Holt hopped up on energy drinks. Was very amusing to see. I mean, we usually see Felicity being hyperactive in her explanations when she's not on anything, and then to see Curtis, he kind of meets her on that level when he really starts going on his technological explanations, but then to see him exceed that when he's hopped up on this energy drink, it was entertaining, very entertaining to see. And then Felicity reacting to that, it's like, whoa. So there's that. Another thing was my favorite moment. Many might not agree, but I actually liked the argument between Oliver and Laurel in the hospital, especially when Laurel pointed out or called Oliver out on the fact that he never saw her as an equal. Oddly enough, I really liked that moment only because of the fact that how she thinks Oliver doesn't see her as an equal. That argument was brought up. I don't know why, but I definitely like that. I'm not really a Laurel fan. I don't know why. I like Katie Cassidy. She made me want to hate a character when she was back on Supernatural as a villain. But for her as Laurel, she does great for Laurel, but for Laurel itself, she always has her moments. Like, she has her really great moments, but then she has her not really great moments for me. Sometimes it fluctuates too much. But in this episode, or in that moment, I really liked how she called Oliver out on the fact he doesn't show her as an equal. And it's not just, she doesn't just bring it up to the fact that she's on the same team as him and not treating her as an equal. She goes back to the whole time they've known each other, when they were dating, when he came back from the island. She brought up a whole bunch of reasons why Oliver has never shown her as an equal. And I can't help but thinking that he doesn't show her as an equal because he knows her so well that he kind of can anticipate how she's going to react, and maybe he makes his decisions in regards to her based off of that. I'm not sure. These are solely my opinions, and if you're a Laurel fan, I'm sorry, but yeah. So I'm just going to leave it on that with the favorites and go to my peeved moments. And it actually ties in with Laurel and Oliver, sadly, because Laurel actually calls Oliver out on being a hypocrite, especially when she calls him out on why he can use the Lazarus Pit to save Thea, but she can't do it to save Sarah. And the reason she calls him out on him not treating her as an equal is because he never told her about the Lazarus Pit or what he did with Thea to get her there and not telling her at all. And she called him a hypocrite because of it. I can't believe my timer went off already. Wow. Okay. It's going to be longer than I thought. Okay, so back to that. Whole reason I don't like the whole hypocrite part is because my understanding is that a hypocrite is someone that says one thing and then moments later they do the complete opposite. So how is Oliver a hypocrite when he made a decision and then afterwards he told Laurel not to do the same? Can't that be him just warning her not to make the same mistake he made? Because I would think Oliver's only a hypocrite if he tells her not to use the pit and then afterwards goes behind her back and uses the pit. But in this case, Oliver used the Lazarus Pit on Thea. Afterwards, he doesn't tell Laurel about it because he knows that she's going to do the same with Sarah, which he proves it right, and she does that. And yet Laurel calls him a hypocrite. Isn't Oliver just telling Laurel not to do something based off of his own experience from doing it? Isn't he just looking out for her? I just don't get how that makes him a hypocrite. Sorry for the rant. Second peeved moment, and that's pretty much it for it, but Thea's willingness to let Sarah kill her back at the hospital, I don't know why, it just didn't fit. It just didn't sit right with me. Maybe that's why it irritates me. It's just she just seems so willing to give up. Or maybe it's because she didn't want to deal with the bloodlust and the repercussions behind it. Who knows about Thea's own motivations behind telling Sarah to kill her, but it just didn't fit right as a viewer for some reason. I don't know. So quickly, reminders for this episode for me would be not only John Constantine making an appearance, but we get the complete return of Sarah. Not just the body, but we get the soul as well. So even though we didn't get to see her as Sarah again, we only got to see her in that brief little reunion with her family, and then being told that she needs rest. But hopefully next episode we'll get a full official return of Sarah, if that makes sense. Okay, so random questions. I've got a few. First one, is this the end of John Diggle's search for answers about his brother's death? Is he going to take the words of a file? And did Captain Lance get that? Like, is that the copy of the deleted file that Damien Dark wanted gone? Just to be sure. Next question. Now that Felicity and Curtis know that Ray is alive and in trouble, what is their next move? Obviously, we're going to get answers for that in the next episode. Just wanted to put that question out there. Next question. What is the tattoo that John Constantine gave to Oliver in the flashback? What does it mean? I think I mentioned that before earlier. But it's a very interesting tattoo. I wonder if it has some magical properties behind it. Maybe it's supposed to be some magical protection barrier or something. I don't know. It'd be cool to find out more about it for sure. Or maybe have it come back and help Oliver in the future. I don't know. I wonder if he ever looked into it or if he ever asked John Constantine without us as the viewer being privy to it. Last question. Now that Sarah has her soul back, will she still have the bloodlust issue? Would it be similar to what Thea is dealing with, or will Sarah have more bloodlust because she was actually resurrected from the grave when Thea was just healed from a fatal wound. And yeah, so predictions quickly. Based off the little promo I saw for episode 406, we do see a rescue attempt for Ray, and it seems like Sarah is suiting up and being a part of the team. Maybe Curtis helps, hopefully. That's my prediction. I hope he helps, because I don't think Felicity's going to be able to keep him on the back burner if he's aware that they're going to try to get Ray back. Next prediction from me is that I hope we learn more about that red portion of that rod that Constantine gave to Oliver in the flashback. Hopefully. Next prediction is not really a prediction, since the synopsis reveals that Donna Smoke, aka Felicity's mom, is returning to town. Don't know what her reason is going to be for coming back, but it's going to be interesting. It's very interesting when her mom comes back. So with that said, what did you guys think of the episode? Did anything match up to what you had predicted? Or for you comic book readers, did any of this happen in the comics? Love to hear it in the comments below. Don't be shy about it. Also, if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Check out my other videos, and don't forget to share this with your other Arrow fans. Let's keep this fandom growing. Also, if you want any more information about Arrow, episode-wise, show in a general, or just anything really, chances are I reblog everything on my Tumblr, so you can find all of that in one place, and the link will be down below in the description box. So like episode synopses, episode gifs, promos, sneak peeks, producer previews. I usually reblog all those back to Tumblr, so it's all in one place, so check that out. So that's about it. So just a reminder that all these are my own views, and I hope you don't get mad by my own views. Everyone has a right to their own opinion. I just hope I'm not the only one who sees some things, and I hope I did not anger anybody. But everybody can't see things the same way. It's just great, which makes us all unique. So with that said, I am going to end it there. So this is Mel, wishing you all a great Wednesday, and to check in next week. Bye for now.